This is me, Abe, and wishing everybody a Merry Christmas and a wonderful New Year. I wanted to talk a little about the epidemic that's going on in Kensington, Philadelphia. I'm from that area, but I left, got myself together, moved out of the state. It's hard out there, The drugs got a hold of these people. I'm not going to say these people. I'm going to say it's got a hold of many friends and loved ones because a lot of them are friends and many of them are loved ones. No matter what they did wrong, you can't really hold it against them because when you're on that type of stuff, you're not at the right you're not the right mindset. Um, Especially if you're on the opiate, because nowadays they have stuff in called xylazine, and you can't just get off of it like you used to back when it was the original stuff. People were able to cold turkey. Now it's like if you do it just once, you don't even have to do it three times. It's like within the first couple uses in that same day, that's it. Your body absorbs it, and you can't get off of it. Have you seen some of the pictures that I've sent on my little short when I was talking about it? You see people sleeping outside. I think I may have put a picture of someone that lost a limb because it goes straight down to the bone. It has, it's not for human use. The stuff xylazine is tranquilizer and it's used for animals. So the body doesn't know what it is. It's foreign to us. So when you try to get off of it, it attacks your nervous system. Your heart begins beating rapidly and it can put you into an instant coma. You can have a heart attack. I know people from out there. I had a friend. He used to he used to have a lot of money. He was a good friend of mine. I've seen him out there suffering. I tried talking to him into getting clean. He has, well, and it made me happy because the discussion we had on that day, the about a month later, I seen him again. And he was clean, and he told me that he went and got himself together that same day. When we were talking, the words that I've used while speaking to him brought tears to his eyes. He's a grown man. He tried to hide it, yeah, but he couldn't. We known each other for so long. He just said, "Screw it," and just let him pour out. We didn't care who was looking. Men cry too. We all do. We hide it. We try to man up, but we cry too. So, um, I seen him and he was clean. It made me very happy. But then, like 2 weeks down the road, I seen him getting high again. And now to this day, I don't even know if he's alive. I have people sent pictures to me, of him that he lost an arm from his shoulder down. He got himself together again after that, but now he slipped again, just gave up because he's like, screw it, man. I lost a limb. I can't live with myself. But for you that are not in that situation and using it, if you're doing anything to a mind altering, please, by all means, I don't know any of y'all. I may know some of you. Please, I'm begging you, don't take that route. People have come from all over the state, all over the country, and went to Kensington, Philadelphia to try what they have there. They give stuff out for free. They call them sample. You do not want that because it's not the stuff that you're used to. Some people try it once and never come back. They die. And there's people that get stuck down there and aren't able to make it back home. There's family, people that have children that are waiting for their parents to come home to never see them again. They get stuck. Many people are sleeping on the streets out there. They're homeless, don't have nowhere to go. This time of year is cold, very freezing out there. Some don't have jackets. Many don't even have anything soft to lay on. Many people have pets, such as dogs, that sleep in their yard with nothing over their head and it snows on them. Those dogs are freezing. Mind you, the dogs are not only cold, they also have fur. As a human, we don't have fur. We have layers of clothing that we can put on us, but many don't have. There are people that come all over to give out clothing and coats, but when you're out there on a constant daily basis, day after day after day on a run, you lose that energy and you don't have food in your system to burn that energy and that heat to create enough flow to keep your body warm. So when you're homeless, no matter how many layers you have on, it could be warm outside to us, but cold to them. Because their body temperature has adapted to the air around them and it causes their body temperature to go down. You need fuel to feed a fire, whether it's wood or gas. Something has to burn to create that flame. It's the same as the human body. The human body needs fuel to burn. Without fuel, our body eats itself and we dwindle and become skinnier. We get sick. So when you eat, it fuels your body and it creates that steam, that fire in your body to create warmth, stability, and strength. Without those, we're not much. So with that being said, please, by all means, those of you who have a home over their head, a place to lay down, food in the refrigerator, one meal, just one small meal, one pair of socks, a pair of underwear, anything that you're not using that you're not going to miss, one thing you can give away, it's not going to cause damage in your life. But it will mean a big favor. It will mean a blessing to the person you're giving it to. I've seen people cry just because I gave them food. I may have gave a couple of dollars out here and there, but I'd rather give them something that they're going to need. Because 95% of the people out there, of those out there, if you give them a $20 bill, only 5% of the 95, now don't quote my words, but only about 5% out of 100 would use a minimum at least $5 to get a meal. And the rest will be to what they need to get themselves together off of the situation you're in. So I'm not saying you don't give cash, but me personally, I'd rather give the person food and maybe like a $5 bill. Because whether or not it's cash, you give them cash or not, they're going to go out and get it anyway. You could be saving the person in a way by giving them 5 or 10, especially if they're sick, because they can die if they don't have it. Within 24 hours, a person could check out, will not see the light of day again if they don't have what they need in their system. It sounds terrible. I'm not trying to influence nobody to go out and give. Say, yeah, you need this so you can live here. By all means, if you can help the person, that is a very good blessing. But again, just don't judge the people. A lot of them aren't on it because they want to. If you sit down and you hear the stories of these people, these addicts, you will be able to understand why they do the things they do. A lot of them come from hard backgrounds. A lot of them have been abused, taken advantage of, and they are so depressed that they don't know what route to take. So instead of um, being suicidal and offing themselves and thinking that's the right way to go, they'll start getting high to block that mindset off. The reason why people get high is to numb that feeling, is to escape reality. But many don't realize it's easy to get in, but hard to come out. They don't realize that just that one use may end it. And once you're on it, it numbs you so much that you don't even think about reality. Many mothers and fathers are out there using, and they have children at home. Not saying they don't care about their children, but when you're in that state of mind, it's hard to focus on reality. Time goes by so fast. You don't realize how many days went by, and you don't think about nothing else besides that next one, that next substance that you're using. Because the pain on trying to get off of it is unbearable. People get sick. Some people get sick within 2 hours of their first use. Right after that 2 hours, you don't have it in your system. You're praying that you can survive long enough to get that next one. But that next one could be fatal. Like I said, I know a lot of people. I've lost a lot of friends to this epidemic. This is why I'm having this discussion. I'm in recovery myself, I would admit. I may not have taken the route many others have. Um, I could say maybe I was a little strong. I'm not stronger than anybody else, but I was a little. My mindset was um, I really did it from boredom. I was depressed as well, but I have over a year, well over a year clean. I'm going on 2 years now, and I don't even think about going back that route. A lot of people have meetings they go to. I just left the area. They say people, places, and things is what can make you slip. Well, then in the meetings in Philadelphia, they said, again, people, places, and things. But no matter where you go, you can find it. Well, I have news for y'all because I left the state and I didn't make a meeting since. I never made a meeting. I had about 2 years clean. I left Philadelphia. I'm not going to say where I'm at, but I left, and now I'm living a very good life. A very good life. Um, I'm involved in construction, and I also have some side jobs. I got my life together just by leaving. So those of you that aren't from Philadelphia, they may be hearing this, and you want help. The best thing that anybody can do, instead of staying around the area and making these meetings, if you're on the opium, once go into Presbyterian Hospital is the best one that I know, and maybe Frankfurt, but I think Presbyterian, the one in Center City, may be your best option because they take care of you right in the waiting room before you even get a room if it's crowded. And once you come out of there, relocate because if you don't relocate, you're bound to slip back into the same people, places, and things because around that area as addicts, we know Kensington. And once you even walk through there, if you're a recovering addict, you're doing what they call a hiccup. A hiccup is relapsing before you even realize you're relapsing because you're doing the number one thing. You're around the same people, that same place, and everything that you had on your routes are there. Just about 3 to 5 different spots on every block. It's terrible. So with that being said, I hope and pray that the people in this epidemic get through their recovery. Once they feel as though it may take anywhere from 3 days to a week to get off of it, if you're an opiate. But it's not going to be easy, depending on where you go. I'm I would refer those of you who need to go to Presbyterian because I've known people that went there and they said it was the easiest withdrawal they've gone through in any other one. I know a person, I'm not going to say who, that's been going through withdrawal in and out of the hospital 4 times. Once they got to the Presbyterian, I believe it was, they said it was like a cakewalk. They keep you so, you're not sedated either. You're up, you're awake. They give you stuff that makes you relax. You don't feel anything. And once that person got off, I said to them from the back, I said, leave town. You want to stay clean? Leave town. A friend of mine took my word for it, went to California. His partner, she came back or went back to Philadelphia, and he hasn't heard from her since. But right now, he has his own business. He went out in California. He said, look, I'm going as far away from this thing as possible. Yeah, the stuff is in California too, but you're not going to know where to get it from unless you ask. And in order to ask, you got to know who to ask. And if you don't know who to ask, you might not find it. But when you're in a different town and you're clean, it's kind of embarrassing to go and ask for that type of stuff. That's why I always say to people, it's better if you just relocate. Because relocating is way better because you don't know where to get it from. You don't know who to ask. You don't want to ask, and you're too embarrassed to ask. And from the people around you, you don't know. So if you ever been seen getting high, you'll be embarrassed as well. So the best option for many is just to leave the area. And that can help you build. Because the person that I know that left Philadelphia, he used to push a shopping cart. He slept on the steps of a school. He'll leave first thing in the morning before the school opens, and then when the school's closed, the tension is all over. It's still light out. He will bring his shopping cart, his clothing, and everything he needs, his food and everything, right there on them steps. And people used to come by and feed him and his girl. But yeah, he left. He got himself together. He went through a recovery. He found somebody to come down. I referred him to a place called The Rock Ministries. They came around and referred him to some people that will fly you out to California for detox. But you have to be careful because there's snakes out there that can take you to a different location and you not come back, and it's a bad route. So there are people snatching people off of Kennison and put them in bad situations. So you have to keep that mindset too. Go to places that you know of, like the Rock Ministries. I refer anybody to the Rock Ministries. The one person that left Philadelphia and is now out in California, he has his own recovery house system going. He has nonprofit organizations. He has a nice brand new car, and he has a nice house living out in California. His wife left, but he chose not to take that route and take a chance to come back to Philadelphia. I pray to God that she came back and she's into the right hands, maybe some family or something. But it's very hard to stay in that city knowing that you're a recovering addict. So that's like a option that I really want to accept for myself to go back that down that way. Not saying that I can slip, but I can say that. But saying and doing is two different things. You can have a mindset in your head saying that you're never going to take that route again, but that's just the reality you're giving yourself, the image you're putting in your head. That will be a risk to anyone, not just myself. That's a risk to anyone that is trying to get themselves together and just going back to the same neighborhoods. So I stay away from that area. I only go down to visit family if need be. And now is the time for the holidays. It's just Christmas morning. New Year's is around the corner. And I'm hoping and praying that when it gets cold and they do the cold blue, there's a place called Prevention Point around Kensington, Allegheny, where they open beds and have beds for people to sleep. Back when I used to live in Philadelphia, there were so many people out on the streets of Kensington that there wasn't many beds. They had buses that people were sleeping in just to keep warm. School buses that they had parked alongside the road, and they'll put the heat on. And if you leave the bus, like to go to the bathroom or something, you have about 20 minutes to get back to that bus. Because if you're not back in 20 minutes, they're going to replace that spot for someone else, and you'll be outside freezing. They do give out blankets at Prevention Point and clothing. They feed every morning. I believe twice a day. They give out coffee, hot coffee. They have donuts. They might give you some soup. They have a place you can go inside, so you can watch TV. They have showers there. They like basically everything a homeless person needs is in that area, but at the same time, they're not only trying to help, but it can enable people as well. Because if you don't have those type of things, then it may push you into getting into recovery. But with all the things they have provided, they even give out syringes, which are I'll just call it diabetic tools. Syringes are what you poke yourself with, if you don't know the definition. Um, they give them out for free. You get a pack of a 10 pack free of charge, and also it's enabling, yes, but it's also a good thing because it keeps the spread of diseases and sicknesses and illness from spreading from people. There's also like you may have seen films with people throwing needles and syringes and stuff on the ground in the parks and the walkways wherever you go in Philadelphia. But there's also a one-for-one exchange, what they call it. So if you was to pick up one and break the tip off or whatever, put it inside a safe container and take it back to Prevention Point on certain days of the week, for every one that you turn in, you will get replaced by with a fresh one. So some people might go around all week collecting 500, 600, 1,000, and not only do they keep it for themselves and turn them in and get the same amount, maybe more back, but they also sell them for funds so they can get food or whatever else they need. But that's a hard route. It's a hard way of living. People lose their limbs. There was a big crisis going around that there was headlights going around, and just about 80% of the people out there were having it had their headlights. And there's people that they pay to inject them with the stuff, their medication because they can't do it themselves. And that is also risky because not everybody knows how to do it. And those people get paid for doing it. But if you screw up and that person dies, it's on you. So I know one person was doing that for people, and he was the mother load, the carrier of headlights, and he spreaded it so bad. He had a blanket around him. And when he opened his blanket, that's all you seen. It was like crazy. It was like 1,000 ants, but there were headlights. It was running everywhere, rampant. Um, this epidemic has no choosing. It doesn't pick who it wants, what it wants. It's the biggest pimp of them all because all your money is not going to yourself, it's going to that. It costs $5 to end it all. Starts off. That thing would take full control of your life. Um, it's definitely a tough life to live. Uh, I forgot what I was going to say, but I hope and pray that this message reaches a lot of people, and I also hope and pray that nobody tries taking that route because there are things that people do on that they don't mean that they don't do in a normal life in real reality. You will still rob, steal, do what you gotta, like anything from your own parents, from your kids maybe. Like you're bound to go behind bars doing that. There's not a single person that I know that hasn't been incarcerated abusing these things. Stores shut down in the city of Philadelphia because of this, and many people were a part of that. They'd run in, take everything off the shelves in suitcases. Um, then when the suitcases or the shelves no longer have stuff, I've seen people go in the storage room, the storage compartment where the manager is at behind the counter on some screw. Let's have it. And those were the Rite Aids. They shut down because when I was around, one of the security guards gripped a female by the book bag, yanked her so hard that she slipped and fell and busted her head open so bad that her brain was bleeding and she died. So we and everyone else sought revenge. We wanted revenge for that. So they came out and said on the news, once this word came out, it spread that no guard in any store was allowed to put hands on anyone no more. It was a procedure. The person behind the counter had to say something to the security guard. The security guard tried to stop you. If you do not stop, they have to warn you first. Then they call the law. But by then, you're already gone. So there was basically nothing you could do. Because by the time they picked up the phone, the intruders were gone. And there was nothing they could do about it. So the law around us just gave up. They didn't even care. I've seen them people walking down a block and the cops actually pull over. I wonder how much you selling that for? They know they got it from somewhere. Or I wonder how much he's getting for that. And there'll be a line of people outside just waiting for people to come by with items that they have taken from these stores so they can purchase it for a very low price. And that's another bad influence enabling because people know that it's so easy to get stuff from the stores and get rid of it so fast and get what they need. And it's an in and out thing that it's not helping. It's not allowing people to get the help they need And one way it is to keep them living because they need it or they'll die, but it's not helping the situation. We had the mayor, I'm not going to say her name, we know her names, I don't like saying names on here, um, getting funds and using those funds for other things. Those funds were supposed to open a beddings for those in need, but instead, the person wanted to use that to make themselves look better by bringing artists and concerts to the city to perform for people. Yes, that's nice, but why can't we help our city first? I mean, I give it to her or the person for cleaning up the place, the city. But back then, there were, see, back around that time, they didn't, you were allowed, basically it was just about legal to get high in front of anybody out there, and the law wouldn't even say anything. Like you could spark up whatever you have right in front of them, do your thing right in front of them. They wouldn't care, and they'll see you with the material in your hands. But as long as you're not selling it, you're okay. And it was crazy. So that happened, and now the word was put out that start doing random checks on people, lock them up, and do all this and that. So as you're trying to clean the area up by putting addicts in behind bars, trying to force recovery on them, you had no idea what you were doing because a lot of people that got arrested that was on the opioid died in prison because they didn't have it. You can't just withdraw from that just like that. So you being the smart one trying to clean the streets that way, you caused a lot of damage on people's lives, family and loved ones that they were hoping for their loved ones, their kid, their daughter, whoever, to come back home. But they were snatched off the streets and placed behind these bars, forced to try to get recovery, and never made it out. There's a process that you have to go through. You can't just say, okay, let me throw this person who want to get his life together. He's out here getting high in front of all these people and this and that. That's because the reason for this, they allowed this to go on, is because there were too many addicts being found in abandoned homes, dead, and there was no way to find them. So, and also, the law would go in these places and try to get them out, and they'll injure themselves. So rather than these people being in these places and may overdose and not be found by family, loved ones, or friends, for about a month later, they they allowed them to get high outside so they could be supervised. They even had doctors. They set up tents many years ago in the streets of Kansas and Philadelphia to help people do their thing that didn't have any knowledge of doing it themselves. They called them stations. So they stopped that. There were people found behind the train tracks, um, in the rivers, face down. It's hard, man. I mean, there's been times that I've gone out. I set up camp. We try and do it again. Maybe get some little Caesars or something. They're like what, $5 a box. Maybe I could spend $50 or and get 10 boxes and maybe taxes with. I'm not sure. Get about 10 boxes of Little Caesars and give out a slice or two to everyone on the streets of Kensington. Um, the last thing on someone's mind in Kensington, when they have money in their hand, they might be hungry at this second, but the last thing in their mind when they get some funds in their hands is going to be trying to get something to eat. Not all, some, but I just hope and pray that everyone that's in the streets tonight have a full belly and somewhere warm to lay their head. And I hope and pray that they all can find a new way of life into this new year we have coming. God bless everyone. Merry Christmas. God loves you all.